He's about to break the record. But what if that moment of glory is actually the beginning of the end? Because right now, Carlos Alcaraz is standing on the edge of something historic and something dangerously fragile at the same time. In just a few days, Alcaraz will officially move past Jannik Sinner in total weeks as world number 1. 65 weeks. A number that sounds impressive. A number that confirms dominance. A number that tells the world, this is the best player on the planet. But here's the part nobody is talking about enough. That number might not last. And the player he's overtaking, he's not fading away. He's coming back stronger, freer, and with absolutely nothing to lose. Now, if you're a tennis fan, you already know this rivalry isn't normal. This isn't just another number 1 versus number 2 situation. This feels like the beginning of a new era. A new war for control of men's tennis. And what makes this story even more intense is how quickly everything has shifted. Because just a few months ago, Alcaraz looked untouchable. After winning the Australian Open, he didn't just take the top spot. He built a massive lead, over 13,000 ranking points, a gap of more than 3,000 points over Sinner. That's not a small margin. That's domination. It felt like we were watching the start of a long reign, the kind of reign where you stop asking who is number 1 and start asking how long we stay there. But tennis doesn't work like that anymore. Momentum doesn't last. Control doesn't stay stable. And rivals don't wait. Because while Alcaraz was building his empire, Sinner was quietly preparing his comeback. And here's where things get really interesting. At this exact point last year, Sinner had nothing. No points. No momentum. No presence on tour. Because of the suspension, he missed key tournaments, including some of the biggest clay court events. Which means one very important thing heading into this season. He has absolutely nothing to defend. Let that sink in. While Alcaraz is about to step onto clay courts carrying the pressure of defending massive points, Sinner is walking in completely free. Every match he wins, pure gain. Every round he advances, more pressure on Alcaraz. And suddenly, that 3,000-point lead doesn't feel so safe anymore. In fact, it's already shrinking. Fast. The Miami Open was supposed to be another opportunity for Alcaraz to strengthen his position, to build a buffer, to remind everyone why he's number 1. Instead, it did the opposite. He lost early, and not just any loss. A loss that cost him momentum, confidence, and most importantly, points. Meanwhile, Sinner kept moving forward. And if he wins Miami, the gap drops to just over 1,200 points. That's not dominance anymore. That's a chase. And once the gap gets that small, everything changes. Because now we're heading into the clay court season. And this is where the real battle begins. Monte Carlo, Madrid, Rome. 3 tournaments. 3 massive opportunities. And 2 completely different situations. Alcaraz is defending 1,000 points from Monte Carlo alone. That's pressure. That's expectation. That's risk. Because if he slips, even slightly, those points disappear. And when points disappear, rankings collapse quickly. But Sinner? He walks in with zero pressure. No points to defend. No expectations to meet. Just opportunities to take. And that's the most dangerous version of any player. A player with nothing to lose and everything to gain. And if you've been watching Sinner closely, you know this isn't just about rankings. He looks different. Calmer. Sharper, more complete. His mindset has shifted from chasing results to trusting the process. And ironically, that's exactly what makes him so dangerous right now. Because while Alcaraz is calculating points, defending titles, and carrying the weight of being number 1, Sinner is just playing tennis. Free tennis. Confident tennis. Hungry tennis. And that contrast? It could decide everything. Now, let's talk about something bigger than just rankings, because what we're really witnessing here is the birth of a rivalry that could define the next decade. People are already comparing these two to the greats. And yes, that might sound premature, but when you look at their level, their consistency, and the way they push each other, it's hard not to see it. Still, there's a reality check we can't ignore. The legends set a different standard. Roger Federer held the number 1 ranking for 237 consecutive weeks. Think about that. Not months, not a year, over 4 years without interruption. And then there's Novak Djokovic. 428 total weeks at number 1. That's not just dominance. That's history rewritten. So when we talk about Alcaraz reaching 65 weeks, it's impressive, but it's also just the beginning. The real question isn't how long he's been number 1. It's how long he can stay there. And right now the answer is unclear, because everything is aligning for Sinner. Timing, form, opportunity, and maybe most importantly, belief. You can hear in the way he speaks. Calm, focused, grounded. He knows exactly where he stands. He knows what's coming. And he knows that from now until Rome, every point he gains is a step closer to taking back the top spot. No pressure, no fear, just progression. And that's terrifying for his rivals. But here's the twist in this story, and this is where it gets really interesting. Even if Alcaraz loses the number 1 ranking, that doesn't mean he's losing control. Because sometimes losing the top spot can actually be the best thing that happens to a player. It removes pressure. It resets expectations. It forces adaptation. And we've seen this before. Great players don't disappear when they lose number 1. They evolve. So if Sinner does take over, don't expect Alcaraz to fade away. Expect a response, a reaction, a new level, because that's what champions do. They adjust. They fight back. They come stronger. And if that happens, this rivalry could explode into something even bigger than we're imagining right now. Imagine this scenario. Sinner takes number 1 during the clay season. Alcaraz responds by dominating the summer. They meet in finals. They trade titles. They push each other to the absolute limit. That's not just competition. That's history in the making. And as fans, that's exactly what we want. But before we get there, we still have this moment, this record, this milestone, 65 weeks. Alcaraz surpassing Sinner, a symbolic passing of the torch, or maybe just a temporary shift in momentum. And that's the beauty of tennis right now. Nothing is guaranteed. Not rankings, not dominance, not even legacy. Everything has to be earned again and again. So as we head into Monte Carlo, keep your eyes on more than just the matches. Watch the body language. Watch the confidence. Watch the small moments. Because sometimes the biggest shifts don't happen in finals. They happen in early rounds, in pressure points, in moments where one player hesitates and the other takes control. That's where number 1 can be won or lost. And trust me, this battle is far from over. In fact, it might just be getting started. So here's the question I want to leave you with. If Sinner takes the number 1 spot back during this clay season, does that make him the better player right now? Or is Alcaraz still the true number 1, regardless of rankings? I want your honest opinion, because this debate, it's only going to get louder. And something tells me we're going to be talking about these two for a very long time. Tennis IQ is just getting started. And if you love deep dives like this, stay locked in because the next chapter of this rivalry is going to be insane.